So today I'm beginning to start the process of changing my radiator out of my 900 RZR XC. Been a great machine, but got a stick in the rad a week ago out hunting, and it literally tore the tube open. And we were stranded far from anywhere with any cell signal, which my previous video explains what happened there and what we used and how we got out. Anyway, I got the machine back home, so I'm going to pull the rad. And I've got another rad on order, but I'm going to show you actually a few things here. It's actually not a big deal to get this rad out. And first of all, your grill, you can see it just snaps in those two top clips. You just push down, the grill snaps in right in front. So it's very easy to take that out, literally seconds to take the grill out. Now, there are four bolts you need to remove. They're actually torque screws. It's here, 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 and here. And it's interesting how they mounted this rad, but it works quite effective. So at first look, it almost looks like there's a push pin on here, but there's not. So this brace that's holding everything in place just lifts off there. You just push it and it lifts out. So there's a rubber grommet on here, and when you push it down, it kind of snaps in place and it holds it snug with a rubber mount, so there's no vibration to the rad. Everything's held in place good. But what's really interesting is how they did it. So the actual fan for the rad here is what is mounted to the hold downs, and the fan itself is then bolted to the rad with four bolts, which I'll show once I get it out. But the rad itself is actually suspended by the fan itself. The fan is the mount bracket, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to pull these off. I have a couple of connections to disconnect. You can see the hose there at the top. So that hose has to come off. And I've got one at the bottom, which is easily visible through the side by the wheel. Now, my machine, you can see the grommet right there. I had side rad protectors, which protected it from rocks coming in from behind, which have been very successful. I've had no issues in like 10 years and 7,000 kilometers. So we'll explain those after. I'll do another video on those rad protectors. But just wanted to show you that. So I'm going to disconnect the hoses, drain the fluid. I've got a bin underneath to catch the antifreeze. And then we're going to get that rad out from in behind. We'll disconnect the fan and the overflow tube and go from there. So there you see, literally probably not even 5 minutes, disconnected both rad hoses, which there was very little coolant because I had lost it all. And then I just lifted the rad slightly after having all the bracing and everything out of the way, and I rotated it 90 degrees because it's narrower this way. And it's going to lift right out of here now. So not a big deal at all to get that out of there. So we'll get it out and then have a close look. There we are. My rad is out. Very quick to get it out. No big deal at all. But here you can see how they mount it. So this is the bottom of the rad, and two plastic/rubber mounts on the bottom, which go into holes. And on the top, again, if we have a look here, we have the ones I showed you where the metal bracket slides over and it's rubberized. So all this is mounted on rubber and it holds it very well, but it's an interesting setup that the rad is held in place by the fan itself. So there's just four bolts holding it to the rad, and they look like 10 millimeter. So we're going to pop the fan and mount assembly off. So there's the new rad that I ordered off Amazon at about a quarter the price of the Polaris replacement. Came packaged extremely well. Overall, I'm very impressed with the quality of this. It's very well made. Had to use some heat to get these plugs off the hones. They're probably heat shrunk on there, so I just had to warm it up with a torch a bit to pop those caps off. Everything looks great. The only thing, and it's not a big deal, is when I put the fan on, everything lines up, how would I say, in the correct place, but you can see what I had to do here. I had to make these holes a bit oblong just with my die grinder, or a file you could use, because it was kind of at the limit, and it wouldn't allow. I could literally put these two bolts in, but these two would be partly underneath. The actual width for the bolting was probably 1/8 of an inch or a little more too narrow. So not a big deal at all. I just took my die grinder, and in 2 minutes I enlarged the holes a little bit inward so it'll fit fine. So I'm going to bolt that on, and we'll see how she does. Okay, so I'm going to attempt and show you how I slid this out, and I'm going to put it back in. So I got the whole rad here with the cap up. Rad is completely sideways, and I'm just going to lower it down in here and try and wiggle my way down to get the this side over here far enough that I can drop it under the edge. There we go, it's starting. Getting it rotated. And there we go. And there's just the two plugs to sit it in, the two buttons on the bottom. I just have to make sure they're in the holes, and then I can put the straps back on the top. Not a big deal at all to get that in and out of there. Okay, so once you get the rad physically in the machine, it's very important, obviously, that you get it lined up. So this is the rubber button on the bottom. This is the metal bracket that it's sliding through. So if you see, I can lift it here. You just have to make sure, go to both sides of the machine and look under, get underneath it and line those up and make sure they're dropped in, because if they're not in place, the rad is not going to stay put and you're going to have difficulty with the brackets on top. So quick and easy, just make sure you get those rubber buttons in the holes. So I've backtracked a little here just to show you something. So now to fill this up, once I get the hoses connected, which I've done, to fill this up and run it and make sure I've got the air out and that everything's working, I lifted the rad out of the pins in the bottom and slid it over so I have easy access to the cap. It's very difficult to get at and fill and see what's going on in there. So I'm going to leave the rad just sitting loose here when I actually fill it with coolant and watch to see that I'm getting circulation and let it get up to temperature, etc., without it being fully in place. I'll drop it in and put the brackets on now once I know everything is good. I have the rad filled up for the most part. I decided, instead of trying to get at that bleed screw, I was going to lift the front end way up off the ground, which I did. It's back down now. It didn't help. I couldn't get it to bleed. I thought I could, but you could tell by the way the coolant was pulsing. So I want to show you a trick, what I did to get at this bleed screw. It's not the easiest thing because of where they put it, but I'm pointing right at it. It's right behind there. Okay, that screw in there, you can see it's actually got a screw slot for a flathead, for a slotted screwdriver in it. There, you can see it now. And it's an 8mm hex screw. I tried all I could to get at it, just normally through here, without tearing the whole back off the machine, and I couldn't. So here's what I did. If you see that hole, I just drilled a hole through the heat baffle. And what I'm doing is I put my long quarter-inch drive extension, and I have an 8mm socket on a universal. And I'm going to put it back in now. I let a ton of air out. I just loosened it, and you could hear it hissing as all the air from the engine was coming out. Now I'm going to put it back in, and I'm going to loosen it some more because I topped off the rad again. Now you can see my trick to get this. There's the socket inside, or the socket and universal inside, and the double extension. So I can now just get that on there and turn it, loosen it, and then tighten it back up. I basically made the hole small, so I just slide the extensions through, and with my hand I put the socket on in behind instead of trying to make a bigger hole to fit it all through. Okay, I have my socket on here, and I'm just putting the phone there to see if you can hear it now. If it's going to hiss like it did last time. I let a lot of air out the first time. I'm just going to toggle it open and see what we get. Okay, you can probably hear that hiss. Now I'm getting coolant finally. So I'm just going to snug it back up. There we go. I think I'm probably good. So I hope you could hear that little bit of a hiss on there. It was very loud when I started. So if you can see that, we're at 81C. It's slowly climbing. It's taking a long time to warm up because the coolant is flowing through the rad, and the engine's not generating a ton of excess heat because it's not being driven. But I can verify that everything seems to be working like so. The fan usually comes on once it gets to about 95 Celsius, but if you look here, I've got 156 degrees, the coolant there, and at the other side here I've got about 147. So in any case, it's flowing through the rad. The rad is hot, getting a little steam just because the spilled parts of the coolant are evaporating, but everything looks good. So I'll check for leaks, and I think I'm going to be good to go here. So anyway, I hope you found this useful. If you have a RZR 900, very simple job, don't hesitate to do it. And if you found this useful, please like and subscribe. Thanks.